Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and I hope you guys are doing great. In my today's video, I'm going to talk to you about a company called V2 Retail Limited. We're going to go through their recent Q1 FY27 result and go through the main points from the con call summary. So let's get into it. And before I talk about the results in detail, how things are going for the company and the management commentary, right? I'll just tell you in brief what does the company does, especially for the new viewers. So V2 Retail is a value retail company which mostly operates in tier 2, tier 3 and 4 cities, where they sell these clothes for men's, women's and kids at a reasonable price. So that's their business model, plain and simple, right? So they are a clothing company which sells clothes mostly in tier 2 and tier 3 and 4 cities at a very affordable prices. So I hope that is clear to you guys. So if you look at the recent number, right, it is again been quite good. If you look at the screen over here, the revenue from operations grew by almost 58% from 632 crores to 997 crores. If you look at the gross profit also, it increased by almost 53% to 285 crores. EBITDA improved by 60% to 139 crores. And if you look at the PAT also, it grew by almost 70% from 24.7 crores to 41.9 crores. And we can see that the PAT margin also increased by almost from 3.9 to 4.2%. So if we look at the numbers, right? So the revenue has grown, the profit has grown, and the margins have also expanded. And if you would have been tracking this company or following this company, they have been consistently delivering great results in the past few years. And the management has said in the con call, right, that they want to grow at the rate of 50% for the next 2 to 3 years again. They are very clear about it, and they have no comms about it, and they're like, we will be able to achieve that. They're quite bullish about this. So let's look at the other thing from these numbers, right? So whether the 58% growth which came for V2, whether it was from volume or value. See, whenever a company increases their sale, right, they can increase the sales either by selling more products or increasing the price of the product, or by a combination of both. So if you look at the 58% growth, right, management said that almost 56% growth came from volume. So that clearly shows the new stores that they're adding, more and more people are coming and buying, and that's why they are able to achieve this growth. So the growth is not just because the company is trying to increase the price, because when you increase the price, there is up to a certain limit where you can increase the price. After that, you cannot do anything. Over here, the growth is led completely by volume, which is actually quite a good sign for the company. And if you look at the revenue mix, right? So revenue mix is nothing. It just shows the revenue which the company has generated, whether it has come from men's, women's, or ladies wear, and all those things. So if you look at the screen over here, right? So men's contributed to around 41% of the revenue in FY26. Ladies contributed around 28%, kids around 24%, and lifestyle around 7%. And their mix is almost has remained the same, slightly up and down. And if you can clearly see from this mix, right, the men's are the major contributor. It's equally divided between men's, women, and kids, right? So even if it's not like that they're concentrated only on men's or women's or kids, that if something goes wrong, then it could create a problem for them. They're almost properly and equally divided among their whole revenue mix. And if you look at their other operational highlights, right? See, whenever we are looking at a retail company, we need to look at their same store sales per growth, sales per square feet, and all those numbers. So if you look at the screen over here, we'll just go through the sorry, we'll go through the numbers and we'll see sorry, how well they have done. So if you look at the same store sales growth, so that has been slightly dampened around 7.5%, but the management has said that it's going to improve. It is mainly because of some event called as Adimas, where there was a reduction, but they said they are confident that they're going to achieve a number of around 8 to 10% for the whole year. And if you look in terms of MRP sales, right? So majority of the product which is was sold at around 90%, around 90% in Q1 of FY27. And if you look at their mix between menswear, ladies wear, and kids wear, it was around 42, 28, 23, and 7% respectively. I've already spoken about the volume growth, which is around 56%. And if you look at their average selling price over here, right, the average selling price has increased to 308 compared to 303 in the last year. And the ABV is nothing but average basket value, how much the overall a single customer buys and goes. It has increased from 901 in Q1 of FY26 to 941 of Q1 of FY27. And if you look at their sales per square feet, right, for the month was around 886 rupees for Q1 of FY27. So these were the operational numbers. And if you look in terms of the number of stores, right, so they in quarter one alone, they added around close to around 57 stores and closed one store. So this is in line with their overall year target, which is around 170 to 200 store. And that is not just for FY27. The management is saying they're going to add another 170 to 200 stores in the year of FY28. So overall, the numbers quite look good, and there is there is doesn't look much of an issue. The only thing I think most of the people are generally concerned is about the same store sales good, but the management said that was a one-off, and they should be able to come back between the numbers of between 8 to 10%. Obviously, as I spoke about in terms of the guidance, management said that they're going to grow 50%, not just for this year, but for the next 2 to 3 years. And in terms of opening the number of stores, they're going to open around 170 to 200 stores this year, as well as in the next year. In terms of inventory, there was certain question asked. The management is very clear. Because of the, sorry, the Iran-US war, right? They had loaded up on the inventory so that there is no issue in terms of sales. But as things are getting back to normal, the inventory days should get back to normal and should not be a problem. And in terms of, there was a question asked about whether for the next year growth, they would require another QIP or another fund raising required for the fund. So the management is said, right, that for the next year, they'll shall be able to generate enough cash flow, and the business would be able to fund the growth. So there is no issue with it. So if we look at the whole result, right, it is another quarter where the company has grew, their sales more than 50%, and the management is confident that they're going to achieve it for the whole year as well as for the next year. So there is no issue about it. So we just need to keep a look at the margins, how margins are improving, as well as the same store sales. Otherwise, rest all looks good. And if you guys like this video and the analysis, please do hit like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you and God bless you.